Hello, my name is Bruce Aitchison from Happiness is Egg-Shaped, and this is the Happiness Is podcast with a little short. Murrayfield and Me, my love story. I've spent many happy days at Murrayfield as a spectator, as a player, as a coach, as an announcer, as a hospitality host, and someone who just loves to be there. I would sit in the stand and watch the grass grow. If I have to travel anywhere in Edinburgh, I tend to go via Murrayfield, just so I can set my eyes on that place that I love to be. It is my place of worship, and one of my favourite days was as head coach as Murrayfield Wanderers. That is the shirt over my shoulder of that day. Makes me remember those happy memories. I had been coach of Murrayfield Rugby Club, which is the shirt over this shoulder here, and we had got to the cup final, the most prestigious cup in the Scottish club rugby game, and we had won. And it was a day I'll never forget. I can remember everything, the sights, the sounds, the people I spoke to, the smells. I can remember every feeling I had, and every time I look back on it, it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. And I wanted the players and the club at Murrayfield Wanderers to experience that. I went to coach at Murrayfield Wanderers, and I set out with two tasks. One was to get promotion from a regional league back into a national league, and the other one was to have a day out at Murrayfield for Murrayfield Wanderers. We played on the back pitches, which was an absolute joy, because on a Tuesday and a Thursday we would turn up to train in the shadow of Murrayfield Stadium. We had the best pitches, we had the best floodlights, we had car parking, we had it all. We were spoiled, and we loved it. And on Saturday afternoons, we would play in the shadow of the stadium. But that season, there was this little thing telling us there was a chance that we could get inside and we could play on the big pitch at the main dance at the end of the season. In Scotland, the top teams were able to play in the cup competition. And then as you move down through the leagues, you change. So my club, Murrayfield Wanderers, were able to play for the Shield. So that was the target. Let's get to the Shield final. We had a great season. We won the league, and that was a team that was used to playing with the ball in their hands. We scored a lot of points, and we had a lot of fun. But the challenge was to make sure that we got to Murrayfield. We had to win a regional competition, so we won the Edinburgh District competition, where we beat Linlithgow at Linlithgow, and that day the boys played superb rugby on a very cold, wet day, but they were magnificent. So that gave us a piece of silverware to say we were the best in the region. That then allowed us to qualify for the semi-final stage, where the best team from the north, the best team from the south, us from Edinburgh, and the team from the west were drawn in the semi-finals. We were drawn against Gordonians, a team in Aberdeen, another team with a rich history. And we travelled up on the bus, leaving very early to get there. The sun was shining, the sky was blue. It was a beautiful day. There was a wind, of course there was a wind. We were in Aberdeen, but it was prime conditions for playing rugby, and it was a hell of a game. Gordonians were a young team, a team that was running itself. The players were the committee. They were driving that club forward, and it meant a huge amount to them. We were massively flattered because we'd played one of our last league games on a Thursday night under lights, and some of the Gordonians players had come down to watch, to spy on us, to see what they could see. This was serious, but it was gold. So me and the coach, Ian Jeffrey, a great friend of mine who'd been with me at Boroughmuir, a man who I would trust with my wallet, my wife, my kids, my car, he was there with me, and we went to watch them play in a game, which I think they got a kick out of as well. But we went up to Gordonians, and it was a ding-dong battle, and it was a great game of rugby, both teams trying to play with the ball, and we were behind. Of course we were behind. And then it happened. Referee tells us those horrible words. Last play. We are down. I think we were 4 points down, so we had to score a try, and we had the ball. We're inside their 22. Pick and go. We had worked all season, go towards the post to make the kick easier, go towards the post. What are they doing? They're going away from the post. Of course they are, because they are the ones in the heat of the battle. Pick and go, boom, dives over the line. Referee's arm in the air, blows his whistle, try given. They took forever over the conversion. We didn't care about the conversion. The result was done. We had won our semi-final, and Murrayfield were going to Murrayfield. That was a happy changing room. It was a happy huddle after the game. It was a great bus journey home. They were great hosts to us after the game, and the spirit of rugby was superb. Two groups of people who had given their all, and there just had to be a winner at the end of it. And they wished us all the best, and they said, we hope you go and win it, which is just such a great thing to say. Great values. We went back down and we trained and we trained and we trained, and we had to pick the squad, and we picked what we thought was the squad to do the job. Also on finals day, our women's team, the Murrayfield Wanderers women, who have been hugely successful in recent history, were also playing on finals day. Now, we were the last game on. We were in that slot at 5:45, so the sun was beginning to go down. We'd got to watch some of the women's game, but that also coincided with us getting warmed up and having to prepare, so we didn't see it all, and unfortunately they lost their final, so they were really disappointed with that. But they didn't let that disappointment fester. They were there to cheer us on. We got into it, and it was a day that has goosebumps on my arms, and the reason for that is my girls, who were just that little bit too young when Boroughmuir got to the cup final, my girls were the mascots, and the captain was also the development officer, Murray Hastie, fabulous rugby player from Kelso, who was the club development officer. He ran out as captain onto the pitch at Murrayfield with Katie in one hand and Maisie on the other, and there they were running onto the field. And a couple of mates of mine who are very, very talented photographers, Adrian and Brian, took pictures that mean I'm never going to forget that moment. I had a huge lump in my throat and a bit of a damp eye even before we kicked off. We kicked off and we did the best that we possibly could, but just before halftime, we couldn't get out of our own 22 and they scored. And in that halftime huddle, it was a different conversation from the one it might have been if the whistle had gone 2 minutes earlier. Early in the second half, they went after us. We were playing against a team from the West called Carrick, who had been there before. They'd won it the year before, and they knew how to go about it. And they just dominated, and physically they got on top of us. We scored a great try in the end, but unfortunately at the end of the game, we were the losing team. But as I said to the players in the huddle after the game, look around you, boys, because you've just been able to play at Murrayfield. Now, those chances don't come often for amateur rugby players, for boys who do it because they love it, for the women who had done it because they loved it. That was a chance to play at Murrayfield. And although the result didn't go for us, it was a chance to be there. And some of those players have now got that story to tell of the day they played at Murrayfield. We enjoyed being in the changing room, and the clubhouse afterwards meant we didn't have to get a bus home because Murrayfield were at Murrayfield. So we were able to go back into that packed bar. We didn't drown our sorrows. We absolutely celebrated the opportunity that we'd had, the relationships we'd built, the experience we'd shared, and the memories that we'd made. Murrayfield and me, I absolutely love the place, and I'll go back again and again and again. That was a happy day as a coach, even though the result didn't go for me. My name is Bruce Aitchison from Happiness is Egg-Shaped, and Murrayfield and me is such a love story. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.